All right, guys, I'm back. Now in this video, I'm gonna be making calls to dentist offices, pitching them obviously on getting more leads, phone calls for their business of people that wanna have dental services, right? And so if you guys are new to my channel, first things first, be sure to like and subscribe. Essentially, my channel is gonna help you guys as you try to grow your SMA agency. And I'm gonna give you tips, nuggets, and things that I personally do, things that I implement in my business, and they've been able to work. So I believe if you put them in play for your business, you should have the same success. And so let's get into it. And so you guys know my process. Typically I will find the business, and then from there, I'm just gonna reach out to them, give them a call, see what they're looking to do. Again, you guys are gonna wanna have a script. And you know I don't wanna do too much talking, but I'm just gonna say if you guys are gonna wanna have a script, and a script is gonna basically be able to help you as you make the calls to your prospects, okay? So I always have my script in front of me, right? And then I'm gonna put my number in. So in this setup, it's a little different because you will have all the time you should have a receptionist or somebody answering the phone when you're calling businesses in this setup. So let's go. Hey Hannah, I was wondering, do you know who handles like getting more phone calls and leads over to the dentist's office?
I do not.
Not sure, okay. Well, is the head doctor in today?
He is with a patient at the moment.
Okay. Can I maybe shoot him an email?
Yeah, email is the best way to contact him.
Perfect. What's his email?
It is going to be info.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for your help. All right, bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Okay, so you guys, if you haven't made B2B calls, you can't, especially in such a small environment many times, you will get that a lot. So some of you guys might say, Mike, you know, I'm calling these businesses and I really can't get the person on the phone. And I made that other video where basically you call until, so to speak, right? You call until you get a pulse. You call until. Now, in a doctor's office, typically you're not going to find me calling a doctor's office 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day. I want you guys to understand the context of who you're calling and why you're calling them. In different businesses, like when I made those types of calls, if I'm looking for like let's say it was a carpet cleaner, right? I'm gonna probably, if I need to, I'm gonna probably call them 2 to 3 times a day, right? Until I get them on the phone. Many times, it's not that they're avoiding you, it's that they're also working, they're in the field and they're fielding other calls. In an office setting like this, I may, like we met this lady, I may send an email a couple days from now. I might follow up. Hey, I sent over an email, just wanted to follow up. Nothing, no feedback yet. I keep it positive with her, right? And I'm always gonna keep it positive until I get the doctor on the phone. This is why I tell you guys, you're gonna need to keep following up. It's not to destroy your business name or anything like that. That's ludicrous. That's basically something you never wanna do, right? But the idea of calling a prospect has to be top of mind. Why? Sales is the lifeblood of your business. Okay, so if you or your team don't make outbound interactions, aren't sending out emails, or aren't DMing businesses, or you're not running advertisements, how would people know, good or bad, about what your agency can do, right? And so one thing I learned about marketing is that you want to get attention. Okay, however that's going to transpire for your business and your personality will always be different, but attention is the key. Okay, the more attention that my business gained over those 6 months is at the speed it just pushed off, because I was talking to so many businesses and I was putting them into my recipe that it was contagious. Okay, so that's the process. Now let's just say we get this doctor. I'm giving you guys some of the rundown because some of you may not really know the process when making calls. And unfortunately, if you don't know the process, it's hindering you from making calls and making them the right way, because you don't know left, right, where to go. And so you make a call like this one. Some of you might assume, oh, we didn't get anywhere. We got the person's email. I'm gonna send them my email, and then I'm gonna put it in my CRM. My CRM will remind me to follow up in a couple of days. I'll drop another message. Maybe I won't send an email. Maybe I'll put a little bit more excitement on this lady and say, hey, you know, I know you guys are busy. When is a good time to give them a call, right? Is it early mornings, afternoon, late evenings? That's my mental strategy. It's not to piss a guy off or anything like that. No, is to basically see when is the time, right? And then it might take a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, because he's busy. That's the reality of it. It's not, many times some of you might take it insulting if you can't get someone on the phone. That's not the case. He's legitimately busy. He has patience, right? And so you do want to stay consistent. So keep that in mind, guys, when you're prospecting. You want to make the follow-up calls, because the follow-up calls are how you get someone in your pipeline. Now, he's still in my pipeline, but he's not there yet. Let's say that this particular lady, I'll make another call before I keep going, but let's just say this particular lady say, oh, we have a lot of that. Now I got a telltale. She is in charge of something at this office that could help me go to the next step. And that would become to what my strategy call, right? Or my cold call. It would be another script. Okay, I have a person on the phone that says, oh, we have a lot of that. So then I would say, listen, I completely understand. It sounds like you run this part of the office. Even if she doesn't or he doesn't, I want to put them on a pedestal. That's psychological, right? And they might say, well, I do, or I don't, but so-and-so does, and they work directly with the owner. They work directly with the head doctor at the office. And then they might say, okay, great. Well, this is what I want to do. I'm going to go back to my strategy. I want to get over an email to you so you can take a look at what we do. So my point in saying that to you guys is you have to know the process. There's a difference between being professional, unprofessional, and being Rambo. You want to find what's going to work best. But my suggestion would always be, always have a positive mental attitude. Okay, that's the first thing. Number two, always be professional. Okay, that was a very professional call. And number three, you always want to stay consistent. And that goes back to what I said in my previous video with don't stop calling these businesses. Okay, some of you may take that as you're doing it in like a hectic fashion. No, absolutely not. I'm not going to call them back later today. The next time I call, I might get a little more, hey, we spoke the other day, you probably don't remember me. I just wanted to touch base and I wanted to see if the doctor was available. Probably not available. Okay, when is a good time to catch him? I could have said that on that call, right? I want to make my interactions. When is a good time, right? Maybe I make a little small talk with her if we don't get anywhere on that call. Or maybe the next call. Make a little small talk. Hey, I know I spoke to you a couple times. Listen, I'm with this company. And I always go, this is a big nugget I'm going to give you guys. I always go to the driver's seat of my own business as an employee of my company, not as the owner of the company. Why? Because I want to almost put them on such a pedestal. And I learned this, not my previous company, before that company, I learned this. And it was the owner who was a female of the company, and she didn't want anyone to know. And I was like, why don't you want anybody to know? And she was like, because people then treat you different. They look at you different. They want to get all these deals and kind of favors out of you and stuff like that. And so from that point, I was once again a student. I said, I'm going to add that to my recipe. That's pretty smart, because she was a very successful woman. I said, that's pretty smart. I should be doing that. And so when I go into calls, I always, even if I was a manager of a company, I act like I'm a brand new person. And you guys will see some of these strategies, but B2B sales is a little bit different depending on the setup. And so and again, you guys can hear me riddle this stuff off 100 times. And believe it or not, like I did a training call this morning with this guy. He's on his first week, actually. He's on his way to sign up 3 clients this week. So that's why I tell you guys to book these strategy calls, because they're highly effective and they work. I mean, first week, ready to book 3 businesses. And we were going through some of his calls. We listened to them together. We go through the strategies of the calls, and then I give him my tips and I train him, and we go back and forth on the call. We role play. That's what those calls are for, so you guys can really get the fruit. If you're not trained, I'm telling you, you're going to spend more time guessing than thinking you got it right. When I stepped into that office and I went back and forth, so to speak, with the owner on getting good on the phone, he drilled me. I mean, pause, but he basically, we were going call, line, every line you said, everything came out of your mouth, the annotations that came out of your mouth, all of that was down to a science. And I'd never been shown that way of cold calling. It almost seems like I'm in regular conversation, but I'm following a specific script. Okay, that's the process where you guys want to get, if you want to, because then you can teach it to other people. And it's easier to teach someone once you really know how to do it, okay? And so that was the one call. And so basically what I'm gonna do is I would put this person on my list. I'm kind of showing you guys a little bit more detail today. And then I'm gonna go to the next business, okay? So we now know the doctor. The thing I didn't get, she probably said I gotta listen to calls the doctor's name. I'll get that. Let's call this business. So they got a lot of reviews, okay? When they got a lot of reviews, I'm kind of excited about that because it tells me that, again, yeah, and they have a lot of options for people. It tells me when someone has a lot of reviews that they're conscious of leaving a good experience on their customers, people leaving reviews, good, bad, or indifferent. And that tells you something about a business. You know, they're not just focused on the one-time event, but they're focusing a lot on their image, the branding, and all that kind of stuff. So let's call this dentist up and see what's what.
Hello.
Not ready. I know you guys were waiting for it. I'm sitting there waiting. Not ready, which is good. They're probably busy, or lunchtime. They probably got lunch and stuff going on. Let's see. So let's go to the next one. Let's see what this is about. And then you could also see on their website like what's going on, what's what. Okay, so then let's see what this person's about. Let's give this dentist a call. Let's see. So I hope this process makes sense for you guys, and this is why I say, really don't need to look for what you call a quote-unquote one-call close. It's not needed. All you need to do is make contact. More contacts you make, like I told you guys about the who's this? I told you guys the call I had, the strategy call with the gentleman, and I mean, I don't even think he made that many calls. We had the first strategy call, and I did my follow-up call with him just to kind of see how things went. I think he made about 30 calls and had about 6 people ready to go, and he had a follow-up call. I believe one person is signing up this week with him. He said tomorrow or Wednesday they're going to finalize everything. But that's the power of getting a strategy call or getting help, reaching out, right? Because when you get help from top talent, what it does is obviously it's going to force you to go up. You don't want to go back. You don't want to go to somebody that can't do what you want, trying to see if they can do it for you. You want to go right to the fountain and get the water yourself.
This call will be recorded for quality assurance.
Hey Tito, I was wondering, do you know who would be in charge of getting more phone calls over to you guys for customers looking for dentist work?
That would be the office manager.
Okay, well my name is Michael. I wanted to shoot you guys an email about what we do. We work with different dentist offices, and we get them, phone calls every day of people looking for services. And they call in and they want to schedule an appointment or book to come in for an appointment.
Okay.
Okay. Are you guys doing any of that right now?
We are not. I mean, we have, at the moment, we are seeing about close to 200 new patients a month.
Okay.
Which is kind of like our capacity at the moment.
Oh, okay.
February, so we're not looking for any additional services.
I hear you. Okay. Well, this could be down the road too. I could shoot you the email, and if you guys are at capacity, I get it. And then, whether now or later, we could always have that relationship and then go from there.
Okay. You can send it to
.com. Okay. Awesome, Tito. Thank you for your time.
No problem. Take
All
care.
right. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. So that was a pretty good call with Mr. Tito. He gave me some details about what's going on in the office, and I hope you guys are starting to pick up. When I call B2B, it's a little different. You know, I want a business that could handle lots of calls. Okay, if he's capping out or almost capping out, perfect. But why do I like that information? I'm going to tell you guys why. That tells me that this market is a gold mine. It's like a telltale. So now if he or she is getting that many calls and that many appointments, guys, you almost want to find the 1 to 2 or 5 clients that are looking for more and they're not getting results, because now you know opportunity. There's a lot of phone calls out there. There's a lot of leads, and there's a lot of opportunity, whether you want to do my model, pay per lead, pay per call, or if you want to do your retainer model, that's up to you. But you now know you can get this business results. Okay, there's a lot of other markets that are struggling. So, and now once again, what am I going to do with this lead? I'm going to put him on my list. Okay, let me just make sure. Okay, here's his email. Let me put these people on my list, because I got a lot of tabs open and I don't want to lose them, because I want you guys to, this is the process. This is how you make these calls, and you're calling a business 1, 2. Now let's just say for whatever reason I couldn't get this gentleman on the phone. Okay, this goes back to my strategy where I say you want to how to prospect, how to make cold calls, right? Then I'm gonna basically it's 12 o'clock right now, so I basically give him a call back around 2, okay? And I'm gonna say, you know, I'm trying to get someone on the phone. Let's say I don't get anybody on the phone again, and then I would call him again at 3, and then I would put him for another week when I would try to reach back out to that business. Like for instance, that previous call I made, I was calling the office, I didn't get anyone on the phone. It just kept ringing, so I hung up. I would call him back around 2, okay? Then maybe again around maybe 4 or 5. Now, I still didn't even get the chance to leave a message, to speak to someone, to see where they're at in their process, right? And what does that tell you about the business? It means that you need to follow up. That was what I was stating in that call or that video. You need to follow up until you get something. Good, bad, or indifferent, it doesn't matter. That's out of your control, okay? What you can control is the activity. If you do the activity, guess what? You will eventually have the power. That's my point in showing you guys these live videos, right? It's to because a lot of you have questions. Let me just put these emails in real quick, guys, because I don't want to miss them. I'll find the business later and all that. I'll just listen to the recording, but I just want to, I got tabs where I'm putting these emails right now. Let me see here. Okay, here we go. And so that's really key that you guys see. This is the same principle, guys, where you basically, it's one thing to hear somebody say something, it's another thing to watch somebody do something, and then it's another thing when somebody can watch you do something and coach you and train you through the process. Okay, basically you watch the video, you interpret it how you interpreted it, right? And then you're now watching me do it. It's probably a little bit different than what you thought was going to occur. And then now the last step is when you go into the driver's seat and when you do it and when you make your calls. And we can even do live calls as well together. That way you can be coached in real time. You don't just need the recording. Okay, so let's go to another dentist's office. And if you also heard his tone, right? The minute he heard it was a sales call, he wasn't really that enthused or interested. That's perfectly fine. What it tells me is that now we need to look at the way we're prospecting a little bit different too. And I would decipher that, right? These two businesses don't yet qualify to be in my pipeline. I want you guys to also know that as well. They don't yet qualify to be in my pipeline. Let me just make sure they have, yeah, they don't qualify just yet. And I'm going to tell you guys why. The reason they don't qualify yet to be in my pipeline is because my pipeline has a certain criteria. I need businesses that believe in marketing. I don't know that about them yet. Excuse me. In that they need customers, or they need leads, right? Or that they're going through a couple different hoops and verticals of advertising. Okay. So I would add them to my list. Your list and your pipeline are two different things. Okay. Your list is your database. Your pipeline is what's going to feed your business. Okay. So I want you guys to know that too. And then let's go into the next one. So I'm doing a little bit more talking than I would like to. I'd like to really make the calls, but I've concluded, and even like when I was on that strategy call, that there are certain things that you guys are having questions on, and when you're watching the video, you may not be able to ask me, and so I'm trying to make sure I cover as much as possible to help you guys through this process. Let's call this business up and see where they're at. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I was just wondering here, are you guys looking to get, or who would I speak to about, getting more phone calls and people looking to have dentist services for your company?
My office manager, but unfortunately he's out until mid next week.
Mid next week? Okay, I could give a ring back then.
I work in the front, so it'll be easy for you to just call one of us, pick up the phone.
Okay, awesome. I appreciate your help.
Yeah, have a good day.
All right, bye-bye. You too. Okay, so now this is good. They have an office manager. In my opinion, those are the companies I like to communicate with, and I'm going to tell you guys why. Because an office manager will typically be a gatekeeper, an open door, and oftentimes they make these types of decisions, and then they pass them obviously over to the business, saying, hey, I think this might be a company we should take a look at. My opinion, when I called on auto dealers, right? I don't think you guys know my story. I signed up over 500 auto dealers in 2.5 year period, strictly for making cold calls, okay? This was not with my own business. This was previously, this was before, okay? So when I tell you guys I know a thing or two about hitting this phone, make no mistake, that's a fact. And I would never really try to go for the GM or the owner. I would always go to a manager, because I knew the manager was directly incentivized by getting more sales. And so obviously if they can see the value in it, they're gonna sell it for you. I don't really know if that's the setup in dentist office, like if they get a commission or something like that. But if it is, then in that case, then they would obviously want the incentive of getting more phone calls, more leads, because they're directly incentivized. Maybe it's a bonus or something like that. I don't know. I'm sure they have something. But in this case, this is why I'm telling you guys that it's powerful to hit the phone this way. So now we know, and I would basically, not yet in my pipeline, but in my list, I know they have an office manager. He or she is coming back next week sometime. So I would probably just put them for the following Monday. I never like to really hit people their first day back, because they're going to typically say, oh yeah, it's my first day back, give me a minute. That's how they're going to be. So they're probably on vacation from the from Thanksgiving break there we had. Let me see here. What's this? What's this? Okay. Okay, let's see. So then I would put it here. I know there's key code. So I just do CB, which stands for callback. And I would do, I think that's going to be December. What day is that? So that's December 8th, 9th. I'll probably call on the 13th. December 13th. Okay. And then I'm going to hit set, and then I'll put look for office manager, or get with office manager. Was on vacation. Okay, so that's how I would note it and tag it, right? And then I would go into the next one. So that, like I said, there's detail to the process, right? You want to have your notes or your lifeblood, because when you start making a lot of calls, guys, it gets a little confusing who you spoke to and what you said. I've done it, and I remember I used to do it, and I tried to remember everybody, and I was pretty good, but still. There'd be times where I would get so busy where I can't remember everybody. There's just too much going on, and you don't want to be that way. You want to be professional, so you want to make, you want to have your list. So then, here we go, guys. So we're gonna go. Okay, that's a clinic. Okay, so let's see what this guy's about. Let me see here. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make a beeline and just see something here. How are you? I just had a quick question. I wanted to know, are you guys looking to get more calls for people looking for dentist work?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question?
Yeah, I wanted to know, like customers, people that wanted to have dentist work, are you guys looking to get more calls on a daily basis?
May I ask as to why you're asking?
Absolutely, that's what we do. My name is Michael, and I wanted to shoot over an email about how we do it, what we do. But we basically work with dentist office, and for people that are looking to book an appointment or come in for a visit, we basically set them up where they call you directly, and then from there you book it on your calendar, and the customer comes in for an appointment. And it can range from the type of service, like if they want basic cleaning or if they need, you know, an appointment for more detailed processes.
Unfortunately, we're corporate, so we wouldn't handle that. We have someone that handles that for us.
Oh, you're corporate? Okay. How do I get in touch with, like, I guess, I don't know if it's regional or national directors?
I know at the moment they're not interested because they do have someone that they work with.
Gotcha. Oh,
Correct.
okay. All right. Appreciate it.
We're a corporate office.
Gotcha. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Bye-bye. And so, don't let corporate calls scare you guys. So then, in this process, like the same thing would apply. So now I'm going to go a step above. I don't need to get excited like, hey, just give me a name. That's not needed with the people that are typically answering the phone for corporate. Okay, guys? And I want you guys to understand that. If it's corporate, great, no problem. I get off the phone with this person. I could do some digging. Like if you wanted to go to LinkedIn, you can go to LinkedIn, do some digging. But I could just look up the corporate number, which I will do, and I'll just call. I mean, it's just another phone call. I'll just make the call to the corporate office, and I'll find out who the marketing director is, and I'll find out, how can we get in contact with them, and then why these things are key. And this is the reason, especially if you're brand new. You have to figure out your niche. Okay, when I came into SMMA, I had to figure out, what is the line? Like, what is the communication line between speaking to these offices? We have managers and all this, and then speaking to contractors. It's very different. As you guys have probably heard, go back to some of the calls and then hear how I'm talking to these people. It's a little different, right? And then even my script is a little different because I know I'm not getting the owner and when I say manager, I mean like a GM or owner that can just sign a check right away. I'm not getting that person on the phone. So I don't need to be so, I guess, forceful with it, so to speak. Although I'm not very forceful, I don't need to be very forceful with it because I just need them to get me to that person. That's the sale to them. Everything I'm doing, how I'm speaking, that's just the sale, get me to the person I need to get with. When I get with that person, then I'm going to bring out some more of the arsenal, so to speak, of how we need to see where we're at with this process, right? How am I going to get them as a client? But that sale is very basic. But when you're dealing with these companies, you can do some digging to get in contact with the marketing directors or the national, however they're set up. You can contact them. Some of you might say, oh, they'll never work with you. That's not true. Okay, that's not true. If they could get phone calls that brings them money, at the end of the day, that's what it's about. Now, obviously, you're not the only one calling them. There's going to be some hoops to jump through. They could have 10 or 15 or 20 or 100 other companies that they promised they might give them an opportunity to. But the reason you do it is because you want to figure out the niche. That's why you have to make the calls. You want to see, well, what is that process going to be like? What if I call a dentist or whatever office you're thinking about, and what is their system? Like, who do I need to get to? That's why I'm still, going through these processes to show you guys. Who do I need to get to? What are they looking for? What does their market look like? This is market research a little bit. I now know this is a big market. They got appointments booked out. If you get a person that's not booked out, it's not busy, you probably can have an opportunity to work with them to get them busy, but you can still work with people who are busy. You can say, well, listen, because that call there, next call I get on the phone with someone, I might just say, hey, quick question. Are you guys looking to get 100 calls a month or 200 calls a month? I may be a little bit more direct or forceful. Once I figure out what the market can handle, I may start to say, well, can you guys handle about 15 calls a week of people looking for dentist appointments, right? And my script will begin to get tweaked. And this is how you make a script. You start tweaking it and tweaking it. Then you find out what closes best. It's just like, ad copy, what works best. And you drop that into a folder. You say, all right, I'm going to work with this. Then you go to your email. And it's the same process. So all of this reverts back to making the outbound call because you're still figuring out the market.
Please hold for the next available agent.
Is this the dentist office?
Yes.
It is? Okay. I wanted to know, who do I speak to about getting more calls over to you guys about people looking for dentist work?
Okay, give me 1 second, please.
Okay. So we might have hit a spark because this person didn't know anything about that, or maybe they have an interest. We're going to find out.
Thank you for holding. How can I help you?
Yeah, I wanted to know, who do I speak to about getting calls over to your office for people looking for dentist services?
Who do you call?
Who do I speak to? Like who? I don't know if it's like the office manager or the GM or somebody to speak to about that.
Maybe I can help you. How can I help you? This
Well,
is Naomi.
Now, okay, now I'm Michael. Basically, my company and I, what we do is we work with dentist office, and we basically get them phone calls every day, about 15 to 20 a week, people looking for dentist services, from cleanings to other procedures that you have. And I wanted to shoot over an email so you can see what we do, how we do it, you know, and if it's an interest. But we're looking for a dentist office in the Claremont, Orlando area that we can work with.
Okay, you can send the email.
Yeah,
and I'll
okay.
pass it on to them.
Perfect. What's the best email to send it over to?
Is Gmail.
At Gmail?
Yes.
Okay. And then quick question, are you guys like doing anything like this right now, or you're not too sure?
No, I'm not too sure, to be honest.
Gotcha.
He's the one who handles all of that.
Okay, Dr. Carlos. Okay, I appreciate your time, and I'm going to go ahead and shoot that over. And then, I don't know how you guys are set up, but when would be a decent time for me to just circle back with you and kind of see, you know, what he's thinking, if he has an interest in something like this?
Give us a call maybe this Thursday.
Thursday? Okay,
This
okay.
Thursday will do.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Have a great week. I'll talk to you guys later, okay?
You're very welcome.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. Okay, so I think we made about 5 calls, and now we have a pulse. So this is basically, and I'm going to have to edit some things because when I'm calling in, they got the call recordings and all that stuff for their company names and all that. That part will be edited out so you guys will know, and I'll put that information in the description. I am going to edit that. But this is, like I'm telling you guys, now this isn't a home run call yet. This seems like something brand new because her eyes were kind of lit up like, I didn't know they did that. We're trying to get appointments. I don't know what she's thinking. I asked her one question, I believe. Hey, are you guys doing something like this? Not too sure. Let me put the doctor's name in here. And I'll put a call back for Thursday. So I'm going to message my email to him. I'm going to show him what we do. I'm going to send him my presentation. That does, as you guys know by now, all the selling for me. And then basically from there, this is why you want to make the calls. So as you could probably hear from, you know, Earl Nightingale and The Stranger's Secret, you know, you don't want to, just because you're motivated and ambitious, don't go at this in a hectic fashion. You're not picking up the phone and wailing on people. No. I hope you guys don't mistake what I'm doing. You're professional in your approach. You're finding out what's going on, and then from there you're going to send them your email. Like you said, this is a good time. When's a good time? I'm going to get a good time. I'm going to listen to the recording, get her name again because I didn't hear it fully. I believe I did, but I want to make sure. And then I'm going to use her as the reason for me sending this email to this doctor. I'm going to say, hey, spoke to so-and-so in your office, and I just wanted to shoot over this email about what we do, how we do it. We're getting calls for dentist offices, right? And then from there, they're basically going to express if this is something they're looking for or not. You can't control that part, okay? This is the best part about cold calling because all you need is a pipeline. Now, they still don't fit the criteria because if she had said, yes, we do get calls, or we pay for calls, or we subscribe to services, then I know, okay, perfect. This business subscribes. This is someone that's going to my pipeline. You subscribe to another platform, program, or marketing agency, then you better believe that's what you want. Because they believe in marketing, okay? When we were calling on, like, let's say auto dealers, right? We were looking for dealers that had been buying from a competitor, working with someone else, right? In some way, shape, or fashion. In many cases, a lot of them were, but we were looking for specific competitors because of the type of leads we were getting them. So once they expressed that, then we now know you got to keep them in your pipeline. It may not be the right time. It doesn't matter. Call them back in a week. Call them back in a month. Doesn't matter. Call them back in 2 months. Doesn't matter. Maybe send them an email. Doesn't matter. but you want to make sure you're reaching out to everybody that you can get into this pipeline. In my experience, if you put, this 500 will take about a year. It takes time. So you guys understand, and I'm gonna make sure this, it takes time to build a pipeline. A pipeline in cold calling sales is essentially a remarketing list in digital advertising, right? And every time, like let's say you have a Facebook pixel, your Google tag on your landing page, every time someone hits that page, it's stored, right? Because they probably have an interest in your product or service. That's what a pipeline is in making cold call sales. Every time you get someone on the phone that believes in what you're doing, has an interest, you want to add them to your pipeline. The remarketing is the follow-up strategies that you're going to develop to them, okay? This is what all brands are doing across the internet. They're constantly remarketing to people, showing them this, showing them that. Why would you, running an agency, not think about incorporating it from a sales or B2B standpoint? This is, again, is not you only making calls. This is you and your sales team. This is you and your people, right, that are making these types of calls on a daily basis. You're giving them the work that needs to be done. This is how they can go from being a salesperson to an account manager. Now, again, some of you, or maybe a lot of you, are not at that step yet. That's perfectly fine. But in order for you to be good at your craft, you want to know a couple things. Now, you don't need to be the best on the phone, okay? You can make these calls and you're going to have your personality. You're going to have a certain way of saying certain things. They may sound similar, but now you can pick up the phone and you can call any business, any niche, learn a couple things about the niche. Like how you heard on that last call, I immediately put into play a couple of things that I was learning, right? Learn about this, learn like that. I work with about 3 different dentists right now. It's not my biggest niche. They do great. And I was working with my contractors, right? Now I'm thinking, hey, maybe I want to open up some more dentistry. I'm going to get some more dentist clients. And so I'm still learning about this niche. I'm still learning how this niche works again. It's like, riding a bicycle again. But what I'm saying to you is that if you put these things into play for your agency, right? Now, when you pick up the phone, it's not a brand new call anymore because you now know where they're going to possibly go. Like if I call a lead that, let's say I found them on Home Advisor, right? And I already know what he or she is going to say. He's going to say this, she's going to say that, and then we're going to say this, and then we're going to say that, and they're going to be like, yay or nay, that's it. They're going to say, well, that sounds good, that sounds interesting, send me the email. And from there, you're going to be able to pick up clients faster. So I don't want to be long with this video. I actually have an appointment to go to. Wow, 45 minutes. Okay. Yeah, much longer than I wanted. But I hope you guys saw the processes, right? So I got to go into, you guys know, let me do it since I did on the last video. Let me go through it with you guys. Okay, so today, we're on the phone literally for 45 minutes. That's when I picked it up and turned on the camera. But let's see, I'm going to go into my call log. So let's see how many calls you made. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 calls, 3 emails. Maybe one person that wants to go to another step. I wouldn't write that check yet, but maybe one person that has an interest. They were a little open. That person was the office manager. A couple of things to note: they had someone that was a phone. Their job was to answer the phone. Then they passed me off to someone else. That's a big tip. You call an office like that, that means that they want lots of calls. In my opinion, I've seen it. They have someone that's just taking inbound calls. they have someone, so that tells you that they may be looking for more calls. Now, again, we did this in about 40 minutes. This is me looking at this screen. I would suggest make your list in the evening or when you have your free time, whenever that is for you. For me, when I first got started, I used to make it in the evening. And then when I woke up in the morning, I didn't have to do all this busy work because you see there's so much downtime, especially depending on the niche you're calling. You may not be so fortunate to find everyone on a Home Advisor or Angie's List, but for your niche, like if you do more digging, you might be able to find them. Maybe they're in Facebook groups, and you find them that way, right? Maybe there's a group for your niche, and you probably don't call them from the Facebook, but maybe you go online, you research their business, or you could hire someone on Fiverr for a couple bucks to do it for you, and then you'll have your list in the morning. That's another tip you could do too. But this isn't a video on lists. So if this video has been helpful to you, I want you guys to subscribe to my channel. As I told you, I'm going to give you guys things that actually will help you grow your business, and I will give them to you in detail. And obviously, like I said, you could book a strategy call. The strategy call I just did with a gentleman last week. Right now, that was his first week making calls, and he's on his second week getting ready to sign up one client and maybe another 2. So it's very, very helpful when you can have someone basically work with you one-on-one, go through the calls with you. You record the calls. That's a part of the thing. Record your call. We can go through the call with you together, and then we can even figure out where you're missing some things. And if obviously needed, we can make some calls with you. That's where you guys are going to have your biggest strength, is being coached directly. It's not just watching the video and say, oh, I'm going to go repeat what he did. It doesn't really work that way. If I tried to get on the basketball court like LeBron James, you think I'm going to have the same luck? Never. That's not, I mean, I wouldn't say never, but that's not happening. I would take years of practicing just to be good enough not to get on the court. That's not how it works. Just because you see somebody doing something and you want to repeat it, you have to be coached the same way I was coached. That's how I got to that step of being comfortable on the phone. That's where it is. A lot of you guys have to raise your confidence level, okay? Once again, I don't want to be long with this. If you need a strategy call, hit the link in the description below. Book a strategy call with me. And if you need a coach, what is my coaching program? My coaching program is to help those of you, you've made the stake to claim, listen, Mike, I want to go to the next level. I've seen what you're doing. I believe you can help me do that. I want to book a time to speak with you to see what this is about, how we can do that, and what's your game plan for me. All of my game plans, believe it or not, are going to be unique based on what I feel if you qualify, of course, from that call. Because everything is not cookie cutter and everything doesn't work for everybody. Some people need information a little different, okay? And so, listen, I'll see you guys next time.